Destiny?
I feel like women love more. I think on
Merch.
average, I think women are more emotionally mature, and I think that love outside of like the fairy tale bullshit requires a lot of actual like emotional upkeep, a lot of emotional labor. I think a lot of guys can't put that in. I don't think feeling possessive or jealous is love. Just because you get like really ass mad if your woman does something, or if you get like really jealous or possessive of a woman, doesn't mean you love her more. So I think women in general are willing to put more emotional work in the relationship. So I'd say they love more.
Would you also say, just add to the argument here, that women break up with men more than men break up with women? What do you think?
Break up with? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, this is why I like having Destiny on. I disagree with Destiny. I think men love far more than women do, and I think men are closer to loving idealistically because men love women under far less conditions than women love men.
That sounds like the opposite of love to me.
Well,
if you love under far less conditions, that sounds like desperation. I don't want somebody that loves me for like one or two reasons or whatever, right? I want them to be a lot of reasons why they love me.
But what I'm saying,
check it out, it's your boy User Drake. Now, when you think about it, this topic always comes up. You have a girl and a man who loves more. When you put it into perspective, women are emotional lovers, but very more emotional than men. But when you think about it, who puts in the more work? Who puts in the more work from the get-go? So men always lie to women to get in their pants or skirts, whatever. But on the other side, if a man really loves a woman, he puts in a lot more. So whoever invests more is more likely to what? To love more. That's my take on it. Because if I'm paying your bills and taking care of you, protecting, making sure you're safe in every regard, and all these other things, the woman just shows up. All she needs to do is be the peace. Just make a sandwich and we're good. But the man has to protect, provide, be charming, be charismatic, make sure the woman that doesn't have any anxiety for the most part. Everything the man does is to make sure the woman is secure. So the person who makes the sandwich and provides the peace, or the person who invests more? People love more when they invest more.
any requirements as for a woman needs to love a man. So in other words, the guy's got to reach a certain level to even be acknowledged by the woman. However, that woman, she could be mediocre and still get the garner the love from a man who is superior to her in every way, which, you know, from a biological standpoint, that makes sense because men date down and women date up.
So we make the question genderless. Who loves more? Somebody with high standards or low standards? All else equal. Because that's what you're essentially saying. I would say the person with high standards loves more because you're being more selective of your partner. So of course you're going to love that partner more.
But it's 100% contingent upon the other party's ability to provide and perform, is my point. Like a woman doesn't have a burden of performance to
Depends
garner
on the
love
type
from
of
her
guy.
man.
I mean, if you're telling guys to like look for a woman that's just young and can cook, then of course there's no burden of performance.
Yeah,
But again, like how much of love is that? Like, I love you so much. Like, why? Because I can cook and I'm young. Like, you can find a million girls that can cook and you're young. If you can
That
get
is
two
true.
reasons for it, then like, yeah, who
That
cares?
is true. But what I'm saying is that if you take a majority of men versus a majority of women, a majority of men would like a majority of women. However, a majority of women definitely don't like a majority of men.
Yeah, I agree. That's why
So-
I think women love more. Because when they pick somebody, they're selective about it. They put more time and energy into it, for sure. Whereas for a guy, the woman is a lot more replaceable. That's why even Sneeko over here was like, oh, you know, you might step out and f another or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, how much do you actually love your woman? You're willing to do something like that. Like,
That has nothing to do with how much you love the
it
person.
absolutely does.
Why?
Because it
Yeah.
requires you to step out of your own selfish frame of reference to see how your partner feels about something. You only prioritize the things that you want in life.
If you think about standards, women have higher standards. So logically, you'd think that she loves more. Maybe that's why they get very emotional when they are with somebody or somebody they care about a lot. But then again, on the other hand, men who's more likely to self-delete out of losing or a breakup or anything like that, because I'm pretty sure men are more likely to self-delete because of that. Because men, when you put it in that perspective that women have higher standards, so when they pick somebody, they love them more, that would depict that the woman doesn't even move on faster than the man. Who moves on faster when the breakups happen? The man or the woman? That means the man is harder to attain the woman, because when you go out here in these streets, you can even talk to a two and tell her, "What's up, babe?" And then because you can be talking to a two and tell her, "Hey, how are you doing?" And then she says, "Just fuck off." So men, it's harder to attain the woman, which means he who puts in more work to attain something is gonna love it more. If the woman puts in more, which are the rare cases, she's also gonna love more. Whoever puts in more is gonna love the most, because the woman, even despite of her high standards, she always knows that the grass is greener on the other side, so she leaves even quicker, because women initiate 50% of the breakups in the Western society.
And you like, oh shit, I got another girl pregnant. Like you're in a whole
Everybody's got
fucking
some
world
shit.
of agony there.
Yeah.
See, the thing here is
Sure.
that, and the reason why I disagree, and I get I see where you're going with this, saying that women have far more requirements, therefore they love harder because those requirements are harder to find. What I'm saying is that by having more requirements, that makes it where their love is 100% contingent upon that man's performance. So it's fleeting, because if that guy loses, right, what he had, that woman will leave. So, and I've always said it that, shout out to Rollo, I agree with him on this. Women love opportunistically, while men tend to love idealistically.
I think
So-
that
and I think-
one, you already said
Let
that.
me
You
just finish
said,
real quick.
oh yeah,
real
go
quick.
for it. Go ahead.
I think the fact that they love opportunistically proves they're in itself that they don't love as hard as men do. They don't love idealistically. They love based on, I need this guy to perform something for me, then I can love him. Whereas a man is like, okay, these are my requirements. You're attractive. You can cook, just like we discussed before. That's good enough for me, and that guy will fall in love with her. Versus for her, it's like you need to perform.
Sure. So for your question, you gave a good qualifier that now it seems like you're abandoning, which is you don't believe in unconditional love. Nobody loves unconditionally.
Yeah.
Unconditional love doesn't exist. Then we have to look at who, in comparing the two genders, who is less likely to leave the other party in case of deficiencies, the man or the woman. Because all the divorces the women tend to go through are because of financial ineptitude of the man. The man is not able to provide, so she has to leave, or something emotional. So if men rarely or ever leave women, who loves more, the man or the woman? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe.